This conference will now be recorded.
So good morning and welcome to Moncast on Mondays. As part of our revisit and our sequels to our conversations, I'm delighted that Tara's agreed to join us again today. So Tara, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks, David. Good to see you, and thanks again for, well, I can't believe you invited me back.
Well, you were so good last time. There was no swearing, you were really on point, and you gave us some really good information. So we had to have you back, Tara. We had to have you back. You're looking really healthy and well. I know it's certainly been a lot of rain around here. Are you still attempting to get a little bit of physical activity in?
Yeah, still doing daily. So
Good.
yeah, there was a period. I think I said in the last one actually, right at the beginning, it was tough. You know, squeeze any time out of the day. But you've got a bit of rhythm now, Dave, and yeah, good. Making sure you get at least an hour. So
good, excellent. No, it's really good. It does make such a difference to your day, doesn't it? So when we talked the last time, we talked about how CIMSPA and other partners were coming together to provide guidance, to provide support, to ensure that our voice was being heard. Talk about the things that have happened in the last sort of 85 days since the last time we spoke. What's been happening?
God, it's been 85 days.
It's about that, isn't it? It must be close.
It's starting to feel like 85 years. Oh, Dave, so much has happened. God, where do I start? Do you know what the standout bit for me, David, is that you know, without prompting, we've been approached by so many partners we haven't worked with before, organisations, you know, we're old friends with, kind of without pulling or prompting, saying, right, you've got this Stronger Together hub, CIMSPA, we want to, what do you need? You know, we've got this. So I've noticed a very kind of altruistic response from the sector, particularly the supplier market, saying that we want a sector on the other side. We've got this, we think it might help. And that could be, you know, that can be from how to set up an online learning platform from eGym, to some learning from biomechanics, to here's a customer engagement campaign from J6 and the guys at Alliance. You know, there's just, and when you look at our Stronger Together page now, there's just masses and masses and masses of it. And also, you know, on the sort of wider front, it took a few weeks or so to get into a rhythm of, you know, Sport England were doing this, and then UK Active were doing that, and we were off doing the other, and we did spot early that we needed to collaborate, but because of competing priorities, we didn't really formalise that collaboration, but it did naturally occur. So, you know, and you know, I've liaised more with the SRA in the last 3 months than I have in 3 years, which is great. You know, numerous conversations with Lisa. So, so we've kind of naturally, the unspoken collaboration has happened. You know, regular catch-up calls hosted by Sport England. We're all on those calls, so we're all hearing the same thing at the same time and saying, okay, well, I'm doing this, well, I'm doing that, or should we do that? Has been remarkable. And you know, in some respects, Dave, it's a bit of a shame that it took a pandemic to make that happen, but you know, so what? You know,
no, absolutely
positive out of this, that collaboration continued, and then that's fabulous. And you know, I was listening to I've listened to a couple of these, Dave. Congratulations on them, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's gonna stick with you, Moncast on Monday. But you know, I was listening to Martin Allison's first one, you know, and he was talking about, you know, making a decision as to whether we're a business or whether we're a health and wellbeing sector. And you know, he's right, but actually what we've got to do is we've got to speak with one voice.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of with him on a sort of, you know, clear, singular vision, perhaps led by Sport England. I'd be happy with that. And then we all make a contribution behind that vision. But we cannot collaborate with the health sector. And God knows we're going to need to collaborate with the health sector in the coming months and years now. Otherwise, we're going to lose all of those green shoots that have been stepping up in the last 10 years. But we can't collaborate unless we collaborate.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I've been enthused by it, David, and I think everybody else has. It's not as much of a contact sport as everybody thought it was. You know, it's efficient, it's effective, and you know what? I think the sector want it. But
Yeah,
interested in competing organisations, it needs what it needs, especially now.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's been the bit for me, looking at the communications that have come out and the information we've all been receiving, is that actually we are all in it together, but we recognise each other's specialisms. And I think CIMSPA has been very much in the forefront, as it should be, around workforce and around being concerned about our workforce before we ask them to go back to work. It's about supporting that workforce to be confident and comfortable and empathetic to their customers. And I've been really impressed with the things Phil's been doing, for example, when he's been doing the online Facebook Live type stuff. I think the content has been fantastic. So I'd like to give the team my congratulations, but I'm interested from your point of view as what's been the interaction from big operators around really thinking about their workforce in this situation?
It's been fantastic. You know, it's I think the first bit that we noticed was, I put my staff in furlough. What can we do to keep them active and engaged?
Yeah.
So we could work with all of our employer partners, and there's been lots and lots of training activity being undertaken, and so that was the first bit. And then the other very pleasing thing, I'm not surprised by this, I think we're a sector that cares about our workforce, is that, you know, operators, senior personnel of operators have sort of said, okay, right, now I'm getting ready to go back to reopening, Tara, so I need a cleaning package, we need a reopening sort of checklist, but also I need to reorientate my staff, and they're considered in the round with the same level of priority as, you know, moving my gym kit.
Right.
So that was good. You know, that suggests, you know, it's not just money, business as usual before the start. The staff have been very much a priority. And you can tell that we ran a survey, just a very quick and dirty survey, because I felt it was important to do so, just to sort of temperature check how staff are feeling. I don't want to rush back to a supermarket, David. I'm not rushing back to get on the underground. I've spent half my life before all of this. And the survey suggested that, you know, one of the questions was, you know, how do you feel about returning to work? Do you feel informed? And you know, really large chunk, 60–70% of people said, yeah, I do feel informed, which suggests that the employers have stayed in touch and engaged with their teams. There is an opposite to that, which is, even though I feel informed, I'm still a little bit anxious.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's great intel for us. So our job is to, you know, it would be remiss of me to just go back to the operators and say, oh, did you know you've got some anxious staff? What we can do is add some value there and say, right, okay, well, let's have a look at those anxiety levels and pull together some learning or some online stuff where you can sort of say, this is how we deal with anxiety, working with Mind, working with the Chartered Institute of Professional Development, working with, you know, mental health charities. I mean, but also, this is what the building's going to look like. This is what your job's going to look like. This is what we anticipate the cleaning to be like. This is what we expect you to wear. To be able to pull all of that together in one hub for operators who've got enough on their plate, frankly, has been very much a focus. With the stuff that Phil's been doing on Facebook Live, etc., is to get, you know, you know better than anybody, our mantra is leading by listening. We have been listening and responding as quickly as possible to what we hear. On behalf of the operators, you've got half their staff in furlough, spinning all these plates. Let's try to, you know, reduce that burden and add some value.
Absolutely. And I think the bit that I've really noticed over the lockdown, and I think this has been driven by the amalgamation with the reps piece, is actually our ability to get that message to an individual as well as to an organisation. And that has been so impressive, that we've been able to go from really working quite high levels with employers down to individuals who deliver PT or deliver coaching or deliver that physiotherapy type of stuff. And that for me has been the most impressive bit, how we've managed to make the message from CIMSPA become valid to me as an individual, as well as me as an operator or somebody who's responsible for 3,000 people. It has been very impressive. How have you managed that?
Well, apart from anything else, Dave, don't forget we are a member organisation. We are about individuals. So a huge amount of our database is talking to individuals, but we get to those individuals through employer partners. So we've really upped our game on social media. One thing that I've always had a bit of a fear of doing this stuff, honestly. Right. I don't want to. You know what I'm like. I can't help myself, and I swear before I know it, and then and I haven't sworn yet.
No.
But yeah, it's human nature, isn't it? You have a little bit of imposter syndrome. Oh, I don't want to go on a live webinar and say the wrong thing, and perhaps I've sent a message to my team that, well, Tara doesn't do it, so that's not what we do. And we said right at the beginning, we need to have very real conversations with our membership to inform the operators, to inform the membership, So what's the quickest way of doing that? And it's through live chats, it's through webinars, it's through social media, it's been cutting through some rubbish and just asking some straight and direct questions. So I don't think we have time to plan all right now. So that's not been a difficult thing to do. I've done more live webinars in the 3 months that I've done in my entire life. I've decided to just deal with my fear of it and get over it, and I already enjoy them. The other thing as well, Dave, honestly, is many of us in CIMSPA, speaking for myself, I've walked a mile in their shoes. I've been the lifeguard, I've been the duty manager, I've been the GM, I've put myself in their position over and over and over again. What am I going to need? What guidance do I need? What questions am I going to ask? And then checking through our channels. This is what we need. Yes, good. We've got all these partners queuing up now saying, well, if that's what they need, we can provide it.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a difficult journey, to be totally honest. It's been very easy. I say easy. It's not been a difficult. It's been hard work, but it's not been difficult to pull together.
Sure.
Which is delightful, and we've got great feedback. And interestingly, in terms of employer partners and members wishing to join, we've never been so busy.
That's brilliant.
Brilliant. We're in the middle of a payment holiday. Wouldn't dream of charging anybody during this time, but and that's good to know. That's getting back into. Lots of people have been learning and doing some CPD and thinking about themselves and their futures and really investing in themselves, and that's what we're here for. So
yeah, absolutely. I don't want to turn this into a board meeting, but it is the question I tend to ask at this stage when you've said something like that. Are we finding that actually we're getting some chartered fellows and chartered members in there? Are we looking at top end membership? Are we looking at middle membership? Are we looking at those brilliant people that do the doing for us? Where's that interest coming from?
Honestly, thankfully we're not on a board meeting, because you wouldn't buy this if I said it, but it really is. Hey, we got our first chartered practitioner a couple of weeks ago.
Fantastic. That's brilliant.
She's worked really hard, and finally, can you imagine having thousands of those when we're going to need it, when we're looking at acute spend on the other side of this? So yeah, we'll be doing a little bit of work around that, but that was the dream a couple of years ago. Let's give
absolutely
status to the flipping brilliant people we've got at the front line. So we've done that, and also I think there's been lots of people in management positions who've been thinking about doing their chartered accounts and gone, right, well, I've got a bit of time now. So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's been really.
That's brilliant. You've got 30 seconds because you and I know the language. We know what we talk. Just tell us what it mean. What is a chartered practitioner? What does that really mean? Because I think that's a seminal moment in CIMSPA's life.
It's chartered is a notion of status for your experience, your caliber. It's testimony. So you may have qualified as a PT yesterday, and I may have been a PT for 20 years. Apparently, got the same status, which is PTs, right?
Yeah.
I've got oodles of experience and loads of
Yeah.
testimonials. I've done all this learning and all this CPD. I can now become a chartered practitioner in PT.
Yeah.
Gives me innovation and actually that credit that I deserve.
Absolutely. And that is perfect in the time that you had. So Tara, thank you so much for your time. I know you're very, very busy. Really looking forward to our next face-to-face board meeting, whenever that is. But thank you for your time, Tara. You take care and we'll see you soon.
And you, good to see you, David. Have a good week.
Cheers.
Bye.